Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Snackbox. Hope you all are having an amazing day. Happy holidays, guys. Merry Christmas. And in this video, I want to talk about the current summoning events real quick. And I also want to share my way of managing my shards, how I handle my shards, and also answer the question if you should take part in these summoning events or not. Right? That is always the question. I see it all the time on Discords and in the comment section. Hey, I have this amount of shards. Should I pull for this event? And I'm going to break down or give you a general rule on how I approach these summoning events. Now, some might disagree with that. Others might agree. But in the end, that's how I do it. And I think is the best way for me personally. It also depends on your playstyle, right? But we're going to talk about it in a second. Let's first talk about the current summoning events. So for one, we have the extra legendary event from Sacred Shards, which is quite good in general if you get lucky, right? If you get a legendary champion in the first couple of shards, then this is definitely worth it. So the question if it's worth it to go for this event depends on how many sacred shards you have to use to get a legendary champion. The chances are not higher or lower, they are pretty much the same to get a legendary champion. 6%, right? So there's no boost whatsoever. You can be lucky, you can be unlucky, pull 30 sacred shards and not get a single legendary champion. That can happen. The Heart Mercy is extremely high on sacred shards. You will get a 2% chance increase after 12 summons. So Heart Mercy is at like 59 sacred shards or something. Obviously, most of the time you will pull a legendary champion earlier, something with like 40 sacred shards, 50. But if you, like the worst case scenario is like 59, right? 59 sacred shards and then you get a Lego. So this can happen, right? You can get, no Lego in 30 shards, 30 sacred shards. That is absolutely possible. I've seen it multiple times and this can happen. What also can happen is that you get a legendary straight away with the first sacred shard, and then you get a double Lego, right? So that is the best case scenario, obviously, right? And then it's worth it. Also, another side note on this extra legendary event is, like I already said, there are a lot of, very bad non-void legendary champions. And the chance that you get a good one is very, very low. And most of the time you see people pulling like a War Chief plus a I don't know, one of these champions that you don't want to pull, Yannicka or whatever, a Drexstar that you can get for free from the Tag Team Arena Bazaar. So, that's what happens most of the time. You will get a non-void legendary that is not really doing anything for you. Obviously, there are some exceptions, but, when you see those exceptions, posting on the Discords and so on, it can trigger you to open up your shards because you think, you might get lucky as well, which is kind of an illusion because it's a very small percentage that is actually getting something good out of those sacred shards for extra legendary events. It's a very small portion. Like, I don't know how many people actually get good legendaries, but it's not a lot, right? So always keep that in mind when you see people posting on Discords and so on. You might get the illusion that, everyone is getting crazy legendary champions, but in reality, it's just a small percentage of the player base. So it really comes down to you as a player and your play style. Do you want to gamble or do you want to save your sacred shards as resources? That's how I do it for events and tournaments where you get guaranteed rewards, which we're going to dive in a second after I covered the next event, which is coming up for the weekend. And what I'm talking about is this right here. We will have a 2x event on Void Shards starting from Friday. And at the same time, we will have a 10x for Lady Noelle. This event will be active for 24 hours. Now, the 2x Void event will last 96 hours, so, nothing unusual until Monday. And the 10x will only last for 24 hours for Lady Noelle, which is kind of amazing. You will have a chance to, a relatively high chance to get Lady Noelle. If you want to get her, if you have Sir Nicholas, you can grab Lady Noelle here. This is quite nice. On a 2x event, we also have a Champ Chase tournament at the same time. So I will be definitely pulling shards but I don't know if I'm gonna pull void shards or something else to get the fusion done. And also, we don't know yet what will be part of this Champ Chase tournament, because I have a feeling there will be something else. But let's keep on reading. The next day, on Saturday, we're planning to launch a 10x event for Tormin, which is also pretty amazing. We just had the guaranteed deck of fate for Hilvi. Now we have another 10x for Tormin, as well as a 2x void shards. So, like I said, pretty good events, to be fair. Can you use Hilvi without Tormin? Yes, you definitely can. Are they good together? Yes, they are. Should you break the bank for a Tormin? I don't think so, but that's, like, again, up to you. And yeah, these are the events for this weekend. Pretty amazing, if you ask me. 2x plus 10x is always good if you want those champions. And then again, maybe there's something else tied to this Champion Chase tournament, like a Titan Path event, or I don't know what's coming, right? But there might be something else. Now, please note that the second 10x event will start one day later than the first one, while the first one will end one day earlier than the second one. Also, the duration of the second 10x event will be one day shorter than the duration of the 2x event itself. So we will have a 2x void shard event without the 10x, right? So Friday is going to be 10x for 2x 10x for Lady Noelle, Saturday 2x 10x for Tormin, and then Sunday until Monday it will be a 2x without a 10x. So pretty amazing events right now. I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed because I was expecting a 2x primals, and a lot of other people were expecting the 2. We just had one, I know, but last year we had a full 2x on primal shards around Christmas. This time we don't, but that doesn't mean that there will be no 2x primal shards anymore. Maybe there will be still one, who knows? But I want to stay prepared. Now, the big question, should you pull for these events and tournaments? My answer to this is yes and no. It really depends on you and your account. Basically, 2x void shards events are always great. It also depends on the progressive. You know, we have solid progressives here with Lady Noelle. She's a great reviver, great for a Grim Forest, and just in general for every piece of content, to be honest. PvE as well as PvP. And then we have Tormin, which is a great pair with Hilvi if you got her. So the 10x events are not bad. But at the same time, if there's nothing in return at the same time, then I wouldn't pull more than what you need to pull to get the fusion done, right? Because we will have the Champ Chase tournament at the same time. And here we can get a rare for the fusion. So I'm definitely going to grab that, right? I skipped the epic from the Summer Rush, so I have to get every single rare from events and tournaments. So I'm definitely going to go for this. The thing is that you will get a lot of points already just by fusing these epics, right? If you're going for the fusion. If you fuse these epics, 250 points per one epic. You can get 750 points here. So we have to pull shards until we get the rare, or you can use something else like remnant summons, fragment summons, other fragment summons, broadmaws. You know, all of it is possible. But yeah, like I said, you can start off with 750 points straight away into the Champ Chase tournament. And then once you finish the whole thing, right, once you pull shards, you got the last rare, so you can get the epic. You will get 1,000 points from the epics, and then another 500 from Yukimasa, right? So that's 1,500 points just for completing the fusion alone, pretty much, right? Which is kind of nice. Now the big question is, will there be something at the same time? A Hero's Path, a Titan Path event for the Yukimasa Soul? We don't know that yet, but it might be, right? There's a big chance, there's a high chance that there will be something like that. For now, I don't plan to pull any more shards than what I have to get this fusion rare out of this Champ Chase tournament. That is pretty much all I want at this moment. And here's why. So I look at my shards, like every shard besides primal shards, as potential points for events and tournaments. Whether it's a Champ Chase tournament, a Summon Rush, a Hero's Path, or any of these events that are part of a Titan Path event. Anything that would give me rewards in return, right? guaranteed rewards. In the best case scenario, these guaranteed rewards are a guaranteed champion, a guaranteed soul, or, guaranteed mythical relic mats. Those three are like the most valuable things to me in return for my shards, besides the champions that you pull from these shards. Now, you might disagree and, just gamble your shards away. That is cool. That is another play style. I can't do that. I'm just not made for that. But with primal shards, I see it a little bit different because mythical champions are so powerful. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, some legendary champions, some non-void legendary champions are great, but the pool is so massive and there are so many that are not really, top tier, that there's a really, low chance to get one of those. And most of them are the Unity champions. But there are some other ones that are meta too. Now, for the void legendaries, it's a little bit different. Some void legendaries are meta and can compete with, mythical champions. But then again, even the void legendary pool is getting bigger and bigger. And it's just hard to get one of those that are, crucial for your account, that are truly game-changing, like a Marichka, a Titus, right? If you don't have a Titus. Now, Cecilia is great too, right? So that's another one. Then we have Odin, which you can see, he's like the only void legendary out of the Barbarians faction that I don't have. I don't know, a Sulfurion, a Krisk. There are a lot of void Legos that are truly game-changing, that can really have a big impact on your account, but so do mythicals, and I think it's way harder to get mythical champions. The primal shard acquisition is, for one, much more expensive if you are a spender, and you don't get as many primal shards as you do get void shards. Void shards are easier to get. You get them from the Demon Lord, you get them from placing in Plat Arena, you get them from daily quests. You don't get primal shards from daily quests and all that other stuff. Primal shards are only in like very tough content, Hydra Clash. That's where you get the primal quartz. You get one from daily login rewards, right? But you also get a void shard from there. So in general, in total, you get more void shards than primal shards. That's why I treat primal shards a little bit different. I use them on 2x events now. Before, I wasn't really doing that, but I think now it's the best way. I changed my mind. I think it's the best way to use them on 2x primal shards events. To be fair though, at the same time, I pulled most of my mythical champions outside of 2x events. So there's that truth as well. So yeah, it is how it is. Anyway, so I look at mystery, ancient shards, void shards, sacred shards as potential points for hero paths, champ chase tournaments, summer rushes that are part of fusions where I get a guaranteed legendary champion, or that have a guaranteed reward in itself, like a soul, relic mats, or a champion. That is pretty much how I do it. Sacred shards are so valuable for heroes paths. They give 4,500 points most of the times. That's a lot of points, right? So with 18 sacred shards, you can probably get a guaranteed 5-star soul, for example. But the same thing counts for the other shards as well, even though ancient shards and void shards have much more value, as well as mystery shards for champ chase tournaments, because it doesn't depend on the type of shard that you pull. It depends on the champion that comes out of it. So you can get much bigger value out of that shard than you would get for a summer rush, for example. And vice versa for sacred shards. Sacred shards are much better on summer rushes because you are always guaranteed those 500 points instead of, a potential 250 points, which is most likely the case on champ chase tournaments. So that's why, I use green, blue, and purple on champ chase tournaments, and then sacred shards on summer rushes. Oh yeah, and I actually forgot. There's a Christmas gift right now that will last for 3 days. It will run out on Saturday, so make sure you grab it. It's 1 sacred shard, 1,000 starstone, very valuable. 3 star basalts, also nice. 4 energy refills and 150 multi-battles. So make sure you grab this gift before it goes away. So yeah, guys, that's been pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to give you a little breakdown on how I manage my shards. Maybe it helps someone to understand approach here. And at the end of the day, it comes down to you and your account and how you want to play. I know a lot of people like to gamble. I like to gamble myself sometimes, but you know, that's just the way that I do it, and I think is the best way for me. Let me know in the comments below, how do you manage your shards? Do you just open them straight away when you get them? Are you saving for guaranteed events, collabs, or are you just going for 2x events? I mean, at the end of the day, it really comes down to what you are getting out of those shards, right? If you are having success and getting a lot of great legendaries, then just keep on doing what you're doing. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button. It really goes a long way. Also, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more raid content. The YouTube algorithm is going to suggest you a video that you might like right here, and see you in the next one.